Kick off your shoes, slip into a hammock, and get into the groove of Jamaica, where laid back is a way of life.
You know, it's just a great feeling coming to Jamaica, being on vacation, and just having that Irie feeling.
That's right, he said an Irie feeling. But what exactly is that?
Irie is just a cool feeling. Everything is all right, and there's no problem, no challenges, no hassle. Everything is all right. Everything is just easygoing and smooth.
If you can't get Irie by just saying the word, a little reggae music can make a world of difference.
Reggae music, when I say reggae, it's like you see love. That's why we say in Jamaica, no problem, even though we have so many problems. But when you hear the reggae music, you definitely have to nod to it, you know?
The reggae beat has made heads nod and hips sway around the world. But few understand the people, the passion, and the politics behind the music. To do that, you have to go to the source, the musicians who live and breathe it. You'll find them in Kingston at a secret site for reggae insiders.
Mixing Lab is one of the top recording studios in Jamaica.
If you don't have a song to record, you won't get through the doors of the mixing lab. Since they bill by the hour, there's no time to waste on tours. But the Travel Channel got an exclusive invitation to watch the hot new reggae band, Demande, in action.
She's 21 and he's 69. I said you're crazy, it could be your dad.
There's Scooby, Metal, Iron, and Caterpillar. For these guys, reggae music is much more than just a dancing beat. It's the sound that defines a nation.
The way I see reggae music is, it is really the root and the people's music, you know, that which will keep us together from now and forever.
The majority of Jamaican culture has British, Spanish, or African roots, but reggae is 100% pure Jamaican.
I know you found a guy, 'cause I sent up a spy, and they saw you with another.
Reggae took off in the early 1970s. People around the world discovered the smooth Jamaican sound of its founding fathers, Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, and Peter Tosh. Their names and their music are familiar, but few know the secret history buried in the roots of reggae. Reggae is bound by strong ties to Rastafarianism, a social and religious movement. It's a way of life that emphasizes black nationalism, natural living, and rebellious politics. To understand the roots of Rastafari, you must go back to the first Africans brought to Jamaica.
Yeah, well, it's a whole African thing because, you know, when the ships were coming over with the Africans, Jamaica was one of the let-off points for the ships who can't go no further with the Africans who just don't want to stay on the boat. Those spirit vibes in them being a free human being then, you know? They had to let them off here. The first stop was here.
Many Rastafarians feel a very strong link as descendants of these fighting Africans. Reggae music keeps their ancestors' spirit alive.
Our nation is a fighting spirit nation. That's the reason Rasta born. Rasta born because of that fire that was in us from Africa. So that them now become, these people now still attached to Africa, develop Rastafari. And out of that now is the music, the whole drumming, Naya Bingi drumming, and then all of them things that come up now. It just turn out and just come up into reggae music. So it's the same root, it coming way from Africa.
Reggae's funky beat and sensuous sound make for some great music, but listen more closely. Many of the lyrics speak of social injustice and protest, while also encouraging love and tolerance in the world.
Reggae is the only music that teaches love, everything. It fights against politics, it fights against war, it shows love.
Not everyone has embraced the reggae spirit. Reggae's ties to Rastafarianism tainted its image among many mainstream Jamaicans. They quickly labeled it mountain man music, referring to the Maroons, a group of slaves who escaped to the hills in the 1600s and fought off the English. Today, large numbers of the Maroons' descendants are Rastafarians.
The man who would run to the mountain just to avoid the brainwash. We are some of them, which is Rasta. That's why they say reggae music is the mountain man music, which is Rasta who run for the mountain, you understand? Just to avoid the pollution of Babylon, you understand?
Reggae's image has come a long way over the years. Today it isn't just considered Rasta music, it's Jamaica's music. Inside this little club in Kingston, Demande performs their song, Living in Fear. It's a political commentary on urban despair, police violence, and poverty.
Secret people are living in fear.
Thanks to the passion of groups like Demande, reggae music will continue to thrive as this revolutionary sound inspires a new generation.
Reggae is here to stay because once stress is here, once poverty is here, once all the problems that the world faces here, then reggae will be, you know, always be here.
Action-packed or as laid back as you want. Once you've done all the tourist stuff, try one of the island's unique pleasures. Head on down to the river's edge and discover the ultimate in tropical tranquility, rafting.
Picture yourself sailing down a lazy, meandering river on a 20-foot bamboo raft, pulled by a raftsman. Very romantic. You're rafting in lush jungle. It's just scenic beauty and relaxation at its best.
For about $40, two people can hop on board a bamboo raft, sit back and enjoy a leisurely afternoon on one of Jamaica's many rolling rivers.
It's a great trip. Nice, smooth ride, you know, down the river. Just a little noisy, but it's still peaceful.
The raft rides are almost exclusively for visitors, but before tourism became big business, these rafts had a much more practical purpose.
My father was a rafter, okay? He was a farmer in the area, and he make banana boat to take his banana down the river.
So how did bamboo rafting go from hauling bananas to trucking tourists? Surprisingly, it's all thanks to movie legend Errol Flynn.
Back in the 40s, Errol Flynn was a visitor to Jamaica in an area called Port Antonio. Saw farmers bringing down from the mountains bananas and 20-foot bamboo rafts. So he said, well, why not put seats on these rafts and move people? And here we started river rafting.
The prime spot for river rides is down the Rio Grande, near the Blue Mountains on the eastern part of the island. In Errol Flynn's day, these excursions were just for fun. But today, they actually help to keep the local economy afloat.
It's a very, very good, important industry, because when I take people along the river, it don't help me alone. It helps everybody in Jamaica, actually, because I go and buy food from the people, we buy mango, so the money spin around.
Leroy Miller is one of the elite raft captains who navigate the Rio Grande. Like most of these men, he's been on the river his entire life.
I am one of the regional raft captains of Jamaica, doing this for 30 years. Now, my father was a boatman and he trained me, okay? Then I learned by him to make my own boat when I'm 12 years old.
The secret to becoming a raft captain, it doesn't happen overnight. So you've got to have plenty of passion and patience.
Being a raft captain is a coveted job. And so you don't just get up and leave that job. You have the younger guys coming up and they are apprenticed to a captain. And their job is to ensure that the captain rafts are well kept. They bring the rafts back up the river for the captain, and they are tutored by the captain. So they are apprenticed for years, 10, 15 years before that captain is probably too old or just moves on to do something else. And then they take over as captain.
Jamaica's stunning rivers, waterfalls, and beaches are world famous. But Jamaica isn't just home to these natural wonders. It's also a haven for first-class athletes. Home to some of the best sprinters and runners in the world. But this group of athletes is training for another famous Jamaican sport, bobsledding. The Jamaican team made a stunning appearance in the 1988 Winter Olympics.
Conditioning for bobsledding is just like conditioning for track or sprint. Just different. There are some techniques that are different.
So we spend a lot of time in the gym, like 4 days per week, and on the track we'll do 2 days of sprinting, just pure sprinting, speed work, drills, and all of that. Then we go on the ice, and then we get technical with the ice and the track and all of that is concerned.
It's an unlikely locale for a cold weather sport, a tropical island where the best place to find ice is a frozen daiquiri. So how did Jamaica come up with the idea for their Cool Runnings team? You'll find the answer high in the mountains, where an adrenaline-pounding street race became the spark for the Jamaican bobsled team. The pushcart is commonly used to transport produce and other goods around the island. But if you paint it, change the wheels, put on a bumper, add a steering wheel, and give it a clever name, it becomes a cool racing machine.
You couldn't believe that it's really a car at your hand, and it doesn't have an engine inside of it. But it has tremendous speed.
There may be no engine, but gravity will give you plenty of gas as these souped-up pushcarts thunder down steep hills at speeds of up to 60 miles an hour.
You know, the pushcart is a pretty vicious thing, you know. It's a tough thing. They go down these steep hills and they crash a little bit, and you have to have some skill to drive it down the road that they're driving on.
They also race down city streets.
Ready, set, go!
Pushcart racing is so popular, there's even a yearly derby event.
People come from all over the island to watch that. You know, it's like a festival in Jamaica. It is the highlight of everything in Jamaica.
Still, it's a long way from street racing to the Olympic team. Like many great ideas, this one started out with two guys in a bar.
Looking at the pushcart derby, they say, well, it's close to the bobsleigh in terms of downhill, fast, and going around corners and being able to steer it. They say to be a good bobsleigh, you have to be a sprinter, because the initial stages of the bobsleigh to get going very fast, to build up speed, to go down the track. So they say, well, if we can tie both sports, we should be able to do something great on the ice, which they tried, and it went great.
Well, we know what it takes to be a good bobsledder, so what does it take to excel at the pushcart?
Braveness is the number one. You have to be a very brave person. You take guys with guts and skill, which way I'm one of those guys.
Bobsledding is fine, but Yvonne Williams has another dream. Someday trying for pushcart racing gold.
But I said to myself, if bobsleds can get so big, why can't pushcart derby? Because if this sport create another one, the original always be the best. We're just hoping that one day somebody will come and say, well, it's time for you guys to show the world what you're made of. And that's what we are waiting on.
Jamaica is an exotic land with endless tropical treasures to uncover. Breathtaking views hidden high in the mountains, a turquoise sea full of underwater treats, natural wonders highlighted by breathtaking backdrops, all waiting to be explored. To discover the secrets of this slice of heaven on earth, hop on a plane, leave your worries behind, and experience the many pleasures of paradise in your own sweet time. Yeah, man.